What's up, folks? I hope you're doing well. It's been, I think, a rather long wait for another long form piece, content piece. I've been incredibly busy with creating these short pieces. They take an incredible amount of time to create, and then I also do 2 pieces of those per week, so which take anywhere between per piece between 15 to 20 hours. My angle now is more to make it a little bit more interesting. So we do like sort of weekly catch-up sessions, so you see what's happening, and then also maybe take you along sort of my day-to-day activities. So what today is going to be about is taking you through the day of how I create these crazy shorts that I post on YouTube. So we'll do some shopping, I'll explain a little bit about the recipe writing aspect process that I go through, and then also sort of the filming aspect. To an extent, some of it is a lot I still consider trade secret. Hopefully also the final dish. In terms of the final edit and the final piece that's going to be posted as a short, I think you'll probably see that before this video. So when you do see this video, I think you can refer back to it and see it and let me know your thoughts on that. That said, let's get moving. One of the rituals I have when I create the content pieces is always to have a little bit of a pump. I think without a pump, I'm not going to look as good when I go shopping, as well as just spiritually and mentally, as well as physically. I'm just not going to run as optimal as I should, if you know what I mean. If you don't, can't really help you. Before I head out into town, what I'll do is I'll write my recipe of all the components that I would like to have in the dessert. Then I go through each of the components and then I sort of check the ingredient amounts with the idea of making sure that when I plate the full dessert, it's going to be nicely balanced. So in a way, I don't want to create a recipe and then end up maybe having for one particular component too much of it, which then sort of makes it a bit more difficult when I do the final recipe writing and then posting it on my recipe website. Then of course if people recreate the recipe, then they would have all of these leftover ingredients. So that said, so yeah, I write the recipe down, I go over it, I review it, I sort of brainstorm a little bit if it does make sense. Once I have that envisioned, then I'm sort of good to go. And essentially just head to town and buy all the ingredients. For this particular recipe, I'm sort of aiming for a classy, elevated Black Forest cake. So instead of a traditional cake, we're gonna try serve it in a beautiful martini glass. So I think I have a couple of martini glasses, but I might still head into town and see if I could find a particular glassware that could suit this particular dessert in the best possible way. That said, I think we're ready to go. I have everything written down, and yeah, let's head into town. Alright folks, we're in town now, and we're gonna do a little bit of a pit stop because Daddy's hungry. So we're gonna eat something quick, something healthy, of course, as always, and then we're gonna go continue shopping. So on y va. Alrighty folks, that was a very delicious meal, relatively healthy, Vietnamese food, a little bit westernized, but quite nice. And now we're gonna do the shopping aspect. Well, we're gonna go this way. We're in the store now. We're gonna check out some glasses that we could essentially propose our Black Forest cake. So part of the shopping process is always me going to different stores and still going through the brainstorming aspect, because I sort of have like last minute ideas or changes or thinking, oh, maybe I need a glass or I need a special plate. So the whole shopping process takes sometimes anywhere between 1 hour to sometimes 3 hours, where, yeah, I'm going from store to store, and sometimes also because I'm badly organized and I end up realizing, oh shit, I forgot a particular ingredient, so I gotta go back. So now I'm still looking for a glass which might be suitable for the dessert. It's a bit of waste of time, but it's just part of the creative process that we go through. So essentially this was a major waste of time, which occasionally happens. So we're gonna ditch the whole idea of getting some new glasses, and we're gonna go now do our final shopping, which is all the grocery stuff. Alrighty folks, that's it. Sun's almost down, so took us, I think we're out almost 3 hours or so. Head home, unpack, gotta reassess the menu, do some final touch-ups, and then we start cooking. So we're back. Well, I was already back about 2 hours ago. Had a bit of a break, relax a bit, and now we're gonna start soon. I think I'm gonna eat something a little bit just to have a bit of energy. What do we have actually? Yeah, we have some avocado, we have some boiled broccoli, we have some slices of cucumber, we have some pork slices with sriracha and a bit of quinoa. Everything is ready. I've shaven. I usually like to shave. I don't know, I just don't like it when I have a bit of stubble. I think it just looks a bit more presentable. So today I'm gonna go with a singlet, black pants. Yeah, pretty simple, but I think it has a nice charm to it. So it usually depends on how I feel, but I always try to mix it up between having a shirt, no shirt, singlet, maybe some glasses. Always, I think in most cases, I always like to be shaven, done my hair, feel fresh. So when I start working, it feels like I'm ready to go. This is also with my professional life. I mean, when I was wagering, or if I was working in an office, I would have sort of the same thought process. Bench is clean, light is set up. We're going to eat this. Then I'm going to show you my prep station of some of the ingredients, and we're also going to go through the final recipe. Final stages before we start, I'm going to run you through the menu. We're going to have an Oreo ice cream. We're going to have some meringue kisses, very small ones, chocolate flavor to give it a nice crunch. We're going to have a cherry compote. It might be done in 2 parts, so one part being sort of small bits, like the actual fruit. The other part, we're gonna maybe blend it, so it's gonna have this nice smooth texture. We might add a chocolate cream to be thought about. We're gonna have definitely a sponge cake that is gonna be very lightly soaked in a kirsch liquor. We're gonna have a chocolate crumble to add a nice crunch to it. And then we're also gonna have a chocolate mousse as well as some whipped cream. And for garnishes, we're gonna do Marinello, I think it's called, Marinello cherries, and some tempered chocolate. So the idea of this dessert is that we're gonna have sort of multiple layers, with each layer going to give this nice balance between sort of textures. Light moussey sort of airiness to it, creaminess to it, nice acidity and freshness. Crunchiness. Yeah, so that's sort of the angle we're going for. That said, this is sort of my bench that I begin with. And yeah, so all this empty space here is just where I sort of start sectioning off my processes. So I might start with you know, the meringue kisses, then followed by the cherry compote, then the ice cream. Everything is ready, kitchen looks neat and clean. I'm going to turn this light off. It naturally happened, but I really like this sort of intimate space that I've created. I really like it sort of dark. romantic almost. So, ready to go, ready to rumble. Any questions? Please let me know in the comment below. Other than that, let's get cracking. Tonight's piece is going to be a date night piece, so it's going to be filmed sort of from that wider angle and less sort of focused on sort of close-up shots. So like for this particular piece, we're going to be spending, I think, at least maybe six to 7 hours if everything goes smoothly. If it doesn't, then we start pushing it into 8 hours, and then the question is, oh, do we maybe continue filming tomorrow? But in most cases, I really just pull through. So if it's going to be an all-nighter, I'm just going to do an all-nighter, because it's also from a schedule aspect, I sort of try to post as soon as possible. So yeah, that said, we're going to do some intro shots, nothing crazy. So you get to see that I do a few rounds, and then from there we start cooking. So yeah, pretty cringe, to be honest. Nothing too crazy, and yeah, let's start getting into it. It's already quite late, so we have to get shit done. A large part of whatever I do, I mean, a lot of the desserts or savory dishes that I make are quite complex, quite a lot of work, quite a lot of prep, and quite a lot of cleaning. And that's, I think, one of the biggest challenges, is constantly kind of staying on top of the cleaning aspect. For example, if you look now, everything is really clean. And that is for a reason, just also for an efficiency sake. So whenever I'm done, it goes into the sink. And then when I have sort of a break, I've done the major components, or I'm sort of heading towards a break time, which is now, then I start sort of cleaning everything, either putting it into the dishwasher or cleaning it by hand and then letting it dry. That way, when I do the second round or the final round, everything again is clean, which also helps me sort of mentally feel at ease, because if it's dirty, I just don't like it. It makes me a little bit more stressed. So yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of cleaning. I don't know if you're like this as well at home, but when I do the dishwasher, I make sure I pack it to the max strategically. I think I'll be quite good at Tetris, maybe debatable, and it usually always works. Alright, so here we have one of our, I think, third last components, so we're slowly getting there. This is sort of a nice sponge chocolate sort of mousse cake that we're going for. It's also going to be sort of soaked in that kirsch, with a touch of kirsch schnapps, sort of to reinforce that flavor of Black Forest that we're sort of going for. So yeah, here's also a moment where I finger it, sort of for the visual aspect. You know, it's kind of cheeky, fun, sexy. Now on my end, I've come to a point where it's not even funny anymore. Yes, that's sort of the fun aspect, and it's funny and people talk about it, but for me personally, it's not my main focus, you know. It's like a thing that I add into the edit, but I don't spend always, you know, hours here. This is not my main focus here, let's say, to finger it. That said, it's getting late. I'm feeling a little bit tired, so we gotta keep pushing on. So, on y va, as we say. Alrighty, folks, we're going to be at the sort of semi-finished stage. We have our milk chocolate mousse, we have our cherry compote, part of it. Another part of it is going to be used for the final touches. We have our little chocolate brownie sponge cake soaked in a touch of vanilla and kirsch. And then we also have a very nice milk chocolate cream. So now we're going to assemble and then refrigerate it till it sets, and then we're going to do the final step. and the biggest part is done. Looking good so far. I really like the layers. You can see a touch this sort of jewel layer. It looks quite classy in the glasses, so I think I was quite happy the fact that we didn't end up buying any new glasses. And we're gonna put these little cutie things into the fridge. Slowly, I'm gonna drape this over, and then hopefully get this off. Look at that, Jost, like fucking like a magician here. Fucking should have done magic, to be honest. In the wrong profession here, guys. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back. So we did end up sleeping. Just a couple of things had to cool, and some other elements just needed a little bit more time, so it just didn't make sense to stay up like 2 to 3 hours. So it's just better to go to bed and sleep. We are again at the closing stage. We're gonna do this lovely, beautiful Oreo vanilla cream ice cream. That's gonna go into the ice cream machine to churn. It's gonna be a tight run because in about 6 to 7 hours, ideally I will need to post. So yeah, it's always usually my posting schedules are sort of back to back. So yeah, we gotta get crunching, we gotta get moving. Alrighty folks, it's getting close, we're almost there. I'll just take you through sort of the assemblage process before we start assembling. We have our meringue, chocolate meringue kisses, milk chocolate and cocoa soil. Marinello cherries and a Renault curled chocolate. Have our Oreo ice cream. So we're gonna get our glasses out, the mousses, and we start plating. So here's our beautiful martini glass with our chocolate cream, our cherry compote and milk chocolate mousse that has nicely set. So usually I always aim for 4 portions, which then give me sort of about 4 shots to sort of perfect it. The first one is to sort of see how it sort of works out, if I'm happy with the visuals or if I want to slightly change it. The second one gives me that second shot, and then the other 2 are sort of my final shots between really perfecting the visual, the plating aspect, and then also being able to make the nice shots for my content piece, for the shorts, as well as any sort of photo assets that I'm going to use for my recipe subscription site. The purpose of this long format video, I'm going to show you the first shot. That said, for the final pieces, I think you probably will already see that. So if you have seen it, then you know what's up. If not, please go check it out. I think I'm going to add the reference to that video. Hopefully you are able to sort of see the whole concept of it. And now the final stage is whipping the cream and assembly with all the ingredients that I've already proposed. This is the most exciting part because my vision, my ideas come to life. Now I can envision something, a recipe, and in most cases I can nail it down to 1, maximum 2 attempts. That said, let's get moving, let's get cracking, let's start assembling. Another aim here is actually to make sure everything is more or less in symmetry. I think the rule is anything that is odd is visually and psychologically more pleasing to the eye. So you never see me, let's say, putting 6 meringue pieces or 6 piped cream pieces or something like that. It's always, generally speaking, an odd number. If you talk about 2 years ago, my ability to achieve this in a very natural and sort of first attempt was quite difficult, whereas now I manage it much more quickly. I see it much better, but I think ultimately it's really about being consistent and having put in the work over a given time. That said, it looks very nice, and we're going to give this a wonderful crack. A really nice, lovely, refreshing Black Forest cake or dessert. I don't think it is a cake. I wouldn't see this as a cake. I mean, texturally it is very different. This is, I think, much more fresher, a bit more creamier, but it has definitely the elements of a Black Forest cake. From a balance aspect, everything works really well. I think what I would do is add maybe a little bit of less crumble. I think it is a touch overpowering. Also, maybe reduce the quantity of the mousse, or maybe increase the quantity of the sponge cake, the chocolate brownie sponge cake that is soaked in kirsch and vanilla. I think that is really sort of the element that brings the whole dish together, because it's quite moussey, quite creamy, and that sponge cake gives it sort of a nice freshness to the whole dish, which makes you sort of remind, okay, this is a Black Forest dessert. But overall, I think very good, and I think for the next attempts that are going to follow, I think I'm going to adjust it slightly, maybe the visual aspect as well, and that's it. You will definitely see the final piece. It's going to be posted today, so probably by the time you see this video already a week has elapsed, I think. That said, whether you see the first one or the second one, please let me know your thoughts, whether you liked the initial presentation or the final presentation, if it has changed. And then also for next week, the next YouTube video that we're going to make, please let me know your thoughts, what you want to see. I had a couple ideas. One was sort of go do another sort of day, what I eat in a day, do some gym exercises, and then also maybe review some restaurants, sort of like kind of vlogging style. Another option I thought was maybe catching up with a friend who currently runs a restaurant, who was also proposing the idea of maybe doing sort of a kitchen takeover, which could also be a very interesting project. Of course, that would take, I think, a couple of months to sort of get together, but we could sort of catch up on a weekly basis and then see sort of how things develop, sort of how the project is going, and then also talk about sort of like challenges on the way. I really hope you've enjoyed this vlog or this long format video. I hope it was entertaining, and as always, I wish you a wonderful week, evening, morning, afternoon, or whatever it may be, and till next time.